kind of sort of new, but not really. Okay, logs and exponentials, they're inverses. That's what goes in the blank here. Okay, and then inverses, when you apply them to each other, they cancel out. So, for example, what crosses out or cancels out with, like, addition? Okay, addition and subtraction are inverses. What about multiplication? What's the inverse of that? Division, because multiplication and division cancel each other out. What about squaring? Take the square root. Those are inverses. So e's, logs, and exponentials cancel each other out. So take a look at the first one. Do you see how you have a log base 3 and then an exponential base 3? Because they're both base 3's, the log and the 3 cross out and only the a is going to stay. Now, what if one was a 3 and one was a 5? Well, then that wouldn't work, right? Okay, take a look at the next one. I have a log base 5, and then I have a 5 as the base of my exponential. What can happen? Cross them out. 2x plus 7 is going to come down. Okay, next one. I have a 7 as my base. I have a log 7 up top. What happens when you have a 7 and a log 7? They cross out. What's left over? Just the 3c. Okay, now the last one is e to the ln. But remember, what is ln the same as? That's the same as a log little e. Remember that ln and log e are the same. And so if it's an ln on an e, what can happen? Cross out, you just get a 4y. Okay, so here's why that matters. Take a look at your examples down here. Okay, what you are going to do when you're solving is you're going to simplify to a single log, and then you're going to rewrite using the exponential by finding the same base. So this is what that means. Say I'm doing let's start at number 2. Okay, first thing I'm going to do to get rid of the log is I'm going to divide by 5. So divide by 5 here, divide by 5 here. Those are gone. So then I have log little 3, x minus 2. Then what's 10? Negative 10 divided by 5? Negative 2. Okay, from here, to cancel out the log 3, you have two options. One of them you've already learned. What is the way you already know how to solve this? The loop. You could loop it. That's not wrong. Okay, but I'm going to show you another way to do it. The other way to do it is if it's a log base 3, I'm going to put a 3 as the base on both sides. Now, let's talk about why that works. What happens when I have a 3 and a log 3? What's left over? X minus 2 equals 3 to the negative 2. Now, do you remember what 3 to the 2 is? 9. Then what's 3 to the negative 2? 1 over 9, right? And then what would I do with the minus 2 from there? Plus it across, plus it across. So your answer would be a 9th plus 2. And you can just leave it like that, or if you picked up a calculator, you could actually multiply it out or add it up in the calculator. Make sense? Okay, we're not doing all these on the front. Take a look at let's skip to number 4. What do I do when I have two logs and they're added in the middle? Multiply. I'm multiplying the insides. So if I do 4 multiplied by x plus 1, what do I get? 4x plus 4. And now that I have a single log, I'm going to cancel out that base by using the same base that it already has. Now, no base is listed, but I can fix that. What's the base if there's not one there? 10. And if it's a log base 10, how do I cross it out? I'm going to 10 both sides. And then what happens when I 10 a log 10? They cancel out. So my 10 here, my log 10 here are gone. 4x plus 4 is going to come down. And then if I have 10 to the half, what is that the same as? Square root 10. Now, is 10 an easy square root number? Well, I can't really square root 10, right? I could square root 100, but not 10. So, square root of 10, I'll just type it in for you here. Square root of 10 comes out to be 3.16. Okay, so it doesn't come out to be a whole number. And then what would I do next to keep solving? Minus the 4 across. Okay, 3.16 minus 4. Because the log is a base 10 if it's not written. And then from there, what's my last step with the 4? Divide by 4. So this would be negative 0.84 divided by 4 gives me negative 0.21. Make sense? Okay, now I just want to review with you how to do this by log loop. I don't care which one you do. You should know how to do both at this point. But let's say that we were doing number 3 and we wanted to loop it. Can I loop number 3 right now with that 3 right there? No. You still got to get rid of it either way. So what's 6 divided by 3? 2. So I have log 200x equals 2. And then at this point, what do I do? Loop. And where does my loop start if there's nothing there? 10. So I'm putting in the 10 because it wasn't listed. So then it's 10 to the 2, back around equals 200x. Then what's 10 to the 2 or 10 squared? 100 equals 200x. Then what do I do with the 200s? Divide. Oh wait, hold on. I divided by the wrong number. What should I be dividing by? 200. The 200, not the 100. And then if I go into my calculator and do 100 divided by 200, what am I going to get? That would be 0.5, or a half is fine. Okay, 100 out of 200, that comes out to be a half. Now, here's where the loops are going to be a little bit trickier. Okay, if you end up with logs on both sides, okay, the loop can work, but it's way harder than just applying the base on both sides. So if I'm doing this one, what's my base? 2. Then how can I cancel them both out? Put a base 2, and then what happens to the logs on both sides? They're going to both cancel. It's way easier when you have a double log question. So I can cancel 2 log 2 out. 5 minus 2x comes down. Then on the other side, I have a 2 log 2 of 10. The 2 log 2 crosses out. What's left over? Just the 10, and then I can finish solving. What would I do first? Minus the 5 across. 10 minus 5 gives me negative 2x equal to 5 left over. Then last step, divide by negative 2. And 5 divided by negative 2, you can type it into your calculator, gives you what? Oops, I typed it in wrong. It was 5 divided by negative 2. Yep. And I forgot the negative, but it is negative. Okay, make sense? Alright, one more left. Number 6. Can I loop it if both sides have a log? Not if both sides have a log. What do I do instead? Apply the base. So if that's a log 3 and that's a log 3, how do I fix it?
Put a 3.
Put a 3 on both sides. And then my 3 log 3 is going to cross out. 4x minus 1 comes down. 3 log 3 crosses out. 2x plus 7 comes down. Then what do we do from there? Yeah, I'm going to bring the baby to the mama or minus the 2x across. 4x minus 2x gives you how many? 2x minus 1 equal to 7. What next?
Plus 1.
Plus 1. What's 7 plus 1?
8.
8. And then if 2x equals 8, what's my last step? Divide by 2. X equals 4. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay, now take a look at your homework. There's one of them that I think is a little tricky that we're going to do. I'm going to do with you, and then we'll flip over to the back. So take a look at your homework. Back side. side, it's number 12. Actually, 11 and 12, really. Number 12, I want you to think about what could you do, because I cannot eliminate this base with the 1/2 here. What are some ideas for how we could fix it? Okay, if I multiply both sides by 2, that's a good idea, but what's going to happen? I'm going to do it on the board so it doesn't, so I can just erase it. If I times by 2 here, it crosses out, but then I have a 2 on the other side, I still can't loop. Where else can I move that half?
Make it a negative square root.
Make it a square root. Good job. So I can take my 1/2 here. Remember this rule? That you can bump it up. So then I have log of x equals log 81 to the half. And then remember that a half power is really just a square root. So that's really log x equals log root 81. And what's the root of 81 really the same as? That's really just a log of 9. Technically, you can put a plus or minus if you want. Okay, then from there, if I have a log x equal to a log 9, what is their base? 10. How do I get rid of a log base 10 if it's on both sides? You 10 it, right? Put a 10 in the front. And then from there, what happens? Log 10's cross out. What does x equal? 9. Or you can put plus or minus 9 if you want to. Make sense? Okay, take a look at number 11. Number 11 also has a property like that. What number's in the way that's making me not able to do my little log thing? The 2. So my 2 is going to jump up here. So now I'm going to have log little 4 of 6 to the 2 minus log little 4 of 3. So far so good? Okay, now I can't do anything still because I still have 2 separate logs. So what is 6 if I square it? 36. And what do I do with 36 and 3 if their logs are subtracted? Do you remember what you do with those? Divide. What is 36 when I divide it by 3? What's left over? Good. So it'd be log little 4 of 12, log little 4 of x. And then from there, how do I get rid of a log base 4? You put a 4 on both sides. 4 log 4 cross out, x equals. Then 4 log 4 cross out, x equals 12. Make sense?
Yeah.
Got it? Okay. So what I need you to do next is the other side of the notes you need to have a calculator because we're going to be typing stuff in. So if you don't have one, come grab one and then we'll finish the back side of your notes real quick. Okay? So come grab one. You'll need it for the homework.
Is that homework right there?
Huh?
Is that homework?
Yeah. Dane, are you just hanging out or you have a question? Which one? Hanging out. Who is that?
It's Andy. You probably don't know this one. I said hello to the class.
Okay, backside. Okay, take a look at this one in the little top corner. Do you remember how you can solve this by common base? Okay, what if 4 and 32 have in common as a base? Do you remember? What common base do they both have? Okay, so 4 to the 3 is 64. That's too big, but can I go smaller? What about 2? Can I write 4 as a 2?
Yeah.
What is 4? 2 to the 2, x left over. And then for the 32, that's a 2 to the 5. And then do you remember how you can cross the 2's out? Blah, 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 yeah? Okay, so here's the problem. This only works if you can find a common base. So what we're going to learn today is how to solve these if they don't have a common base. So take a look at this one right here. Do you remember 40 being in any of your charts?
Mm-mm.
What about 200?
No.
These guys were never in the charts. Then the way that you cross them out, though, is not very hard. You just need a calculator to do it. So the first thing that you're going to do is isolate the exponential. And then you're going to take the log of both sides using the same base as the exponential. And I'll show you how to do that. It's not hard. So look back at your first one. You see how it's 2 to the x and then a 40. The way that I cross out a 2 is I'm going to use a log little 2. And if I log little 2 on this side, what do I have to do on the other side? Another log little 2. And then what's going to happen here if I log to a 2? They're inverses, so they cancel. So these guys are gone. What comes down? X equal. And then over here, you're going to type that into the calculator. So I'm going to show you the button for it, but it's alpha window. And then it's option number 5. Okay? So I'm going to show you how to type that in now. So turn your calculator on. Okay, you're going to push alpha, which is the green button right here. Then you're going to go up to window, which is right here. And then go down to number 5. See where it says log base? And then what I'm going to type in is my 2 is going to be the little box. And then my 40 is going to be the big box. So I'll put my 40 there. And my answer comes out to be 5.32. Okay, but keep in mind, that never would have showed up in your chart because it's not 5 to a whole number power, right? Okay, take a look at the one right next to it. Oh, and then solve after that.
Sorry.
Okay. All right, take a look at number 8. What do I need to do first? I have 5 to the x minus 2, and then I have a 200. What do I need to put on both sides to cross out that base 5? Log little 5. Log little 5. And then what happens when you log 5, the 5 side? Cancel out. X minus 2 comes down. And if I have x minus 2 equal to, what do I do on the other side? Put it in the calculator. That's right. So remember your steps. You're going to push alpha, the green button, window. Go down to log base, number 5. And then I'm going to make my little number a 5 and my big number a 200. And it comes out to be 3.29. What's my next step with that minus 2?
Plus 2.
Plus the 2 across. And 3.29 plus 2 is now?
5.29.
Good job. Okay, and you're just going to go to 2 decimal places just like we did yesterday. Okay, we don't need to do all of these. Skip ahead to number 10. What do you think you need to do first on number 10? You think I can log 7 with that 2 in the way? So just divide by 2. And you actually, don't bring it to the top, just divide to get rid of it. So when I divide here, my 2 and 2 cross out, but now instead of a 20 over there, what is it now? Just a 10. So 7 to the 2 minus x equals 10. Now leave a little bit of space in front of your 10, because what am I going to put there? A log 7. And remember, these numbers here have to match each other or else they don't cross out. So if it's a 7 base, I have to log 7 both sides. And then from here, these guys cross out. 2 minus x comes down. And then how do I know what log 7 of 10 is? I use my calculator. So it'd be alpha window, go down to number 5, log base. 7 in the little box, 10 in the big box. Log 7 of 10, oops, I pushed graph. What is it?
1.18.
Okay, yeah, 1.18. What do I do from there to get rid of the 2?
Plus 2.
Close. This is already actually a positive 2. So minus 2. 1.18 minus 2 gives me
Negative 0.82.
negative x equal to negative 0.82. And then if that's a negative in front of my x, that's really a negative 1. So what do I need to do? divide by negative 1, divide by negative 1. And if you divide negative 0.82 by negative 1, it just turns it positive. Good job. Okay, last one we're doing together is number 12. Think about your order. What do you think you need to do first on number 12? Last question. Okay, so I have a divide by 6, but what should I do first? Look right there. I would get rid of that minus 8 first. So remember, when you're solving, you want to do PEMDAS kind of like backwards. So I'm going to add this 8 across first. And here's why. Could you divide by 6? Sure. But 10's not going to divide by 6. After I add 8, what is it now? And 18. And can that divide by 6? So you see how it's going to make it easier if you add that across first. So I add my 8 across, now I'm going to divide by 6. What's 18 divided by 6? Okay, 3. And then how do I get rid of my little 2 base in parentheses? Log 2 it, log 2 it. Log 2 and 2 cross out, 3x is going to move down. 3x equal to, and then the other side you're just typing it into the calculator using that little shortcut. So I have 3x equals alpha window, number 5, and then I'm doing little 2, 3 in the big box. Comes out to 1.58. Then from there, what's your last step? Divide by 3. And if I do 1.58 divide by 3, I get 0.526, which is 0.53. Make sense? All right, you have like 22 minutes. Anything off the front of the homework look like we need to go over? Which one? Ezekiel. No bad words, yeah. Sure. Okay, take a look at number 4. Okay, yeah, so if it's 4 to the x over 3 minus 1, what do I do first to get rid of? How do I get rid of that 4 base? Can't divide. 4 is the base. You have to log 4 it. And so then my log 4 and my 4 cross out. My x over 3 minus 1 comes down. And then that guy you're typing into the calculator. So I do alpha window 5. My little number's a 4, my big number's a 10. Just like that. And I got 1.66. Now, what would I do from there? Look at your equation. I have the x over 3 minus 1. What should come next? Plus the 1. Remember that order we talked about just a second ago? You got to add that 1 across. What's 1.66 plus 1 more? 2.66. And then how do I get rid of the divide by 3 here? Multiply by 3. 3 and 3 cross out. 2.66 times 3 gives me 7.98. Make sense? Okay, then one of the other classes was asking about number 2 with it being a fraction. You can still log base that. So look at number 2. What's my base? It's a 4th. Okay, you can still log base that in the calculator. I'll show you. Okay, you're going to log a 4th it. And then in the calculator, in that little box, you're just going to put 1 over 4. So it's the exact same thing. These guys still cross out. Your negative 2x is still going to come down. But then when you put that in the calculator, it's going to look like this. Alpha window, number 5, 1/4 in the little box, and then 3 in the big box. You see it just like that. And it's negative 0.79. Then last step, what do you do from there? Divide by negative 2. Easy? Negative 0.79 divided by negative 2 gives me 0.395, which is 0.40 if you round it. Come on, come do it. Yeah, come on. You can even be in my video. Okay, y'all do your homework, and then Kane will help you with whatever you want.
Which one would you like to do?
Okay.
Number 1?
So.
Oh yeah, I know how to do this. Yeah. Right. So log of 3 of x plus 5 equals 2.5, right? I'll take the log of 3. This goes here. Log of 3, 2.5 equals x plus 5.
Is it log 30?
Oh, it's log 3, my bad.
Should not be a teacher.
Gary should not be in this country.
It's x3.
Alright.
I'm not racist.
3x's off the top.
I can't hear you.
Okay. So y'all don't really need to over that stuff. So then, I don't really know what to do after this.
Okay, so let's do one more. So you did this first thing, move the 5 up, move the 6 up. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, just put it on next.
Ms. Jordan, what do I do after that stuff?
Put it in the calculator.
Oh,
You have to log 3 though, the 2.5 side. What does that say?
Alpha window 5.
Oh, that's an x plus 5.
yeah. You know, I always wanted to be a teacher. So once you plug in the calculator, you get this.
Yeah.
Can anybody tell me what you do after that?
Subtract the 5 from what the number you get.
Yeah.
So you don't should give me.
Good job, class.
Well, you still
Hey, y'all a good class.
but I'm saying when
Work
you
with
go
y'all
to
niggas.
6,
So x equals negative 5.834.
so when I jump to 6 up next,
Does anybody have any?
which is just the
Does anybody have any questions? Yes, ma'am.
I have the negative 4.17.
How'd you get that?
Okay, so
Oh, y'all probably wrong. I didn't. It's cause yeah, you're right. Cause you gotta subtract 5 from it. So 0.834 minus 5 equals negative 4.166. That's what you got, right? 167. Yeah.
no 4.717.
Yeah, cause I feel you.
I do.
Negative 4.
Yeah, but remember, if they're the same base, then you can just subtract.
Dang.
So how many would be?
All right. Number 3. Number 3. So the log of 7. Oh, I wrote that too tall.
Look at him go. Yes. Yes, you're subtracting the little number. Okay, so now let's say that you're doing this one. So you're
Everybody got log of 7 of 60 equals 2.104 equals 2x. Divide by 2, x equals 1.052. Is this right?
Okay, so I took my
Number 3?
from the front. I wrote it up next to my 6. But now
what'd you get?
1.052.
Yeah.
See it. I'm the teacher. Y'all learning. Does anybody have any questions or want me to go over any examples? Number 5? I got you. Ooh. Good one. I like this one. So, y'all listen. So, let me. Miss Bethany Joyner, watch me. You ready? You ready?
Yes.
So, you see the 4 times 3, so you're gonna multiply as 12.
That's divide by 4. You can't times the 4 into the 3 because it makes the base. So divide by 4 on both sides to get rid of it.
I quit.
You know what to do. Just divide by 4. What's 20 divided by 4?
5.
17.
What the? What?
It's 5.
5. Yeah. So you just divide by 4 on both sides. Dang crackhead. Okay, divide by 4. That gives me 3 to the x minus 6 is 5. And then how do you get rid of the 3 base? Come on, Kane, help us out. Now what do we do now that the 4 is gone?
The log of 3.
Boom. Look at him. He remembers all the things.
Put it in the calculator. Yes, sir.
And then that in the calculator. Good job.
The answer's right there.
2 to the 5 is 32.
That way we can
Oh, okay, so don't do that. See how you're, it's not 8 up to the x. It's 8x squared next to each other. So you have 2 to the 5 is 8x squared. Since this is not a little x, I want that to not be little either. So I'm going to turn it into a 32.
I just did the opposite.
Yeah, you went small instead of turning the small numbers bigger.
right now. No.
Now, if it was like this, Jenna, that is when you would have gone to your common base chart.
Miss, can you
Yeah.
help me with this one number 7?
Is that on today's homework?
Yeah, it's this one.
Okay, so you're gonna, so you have 2 choices. If you like the loop, you can do the loop,
Okay.
or you can just for both sides. So if I was doing that one, yeah, he turned it in. So if I was here, I'd do a 4 here and a 4 here. And then what happens when you 4 the log 4?
You take it.
Gone. X minus 2 equals. And then on this side, if it was like 4 squared, you can do it in your head. But if it's 4 to the 2.5, you would just use your calculator. So you do 4 up to the 2.5. Like that. Do you get 32?
Yeah.
Yep. Good job.